What's up, everyone? Beastmode back here with another video. So today we have the first and second place deck list from the last BCS tournament, which was last weekend. We had 20 players playing in this event. We were hoping to have 32, but we were competing with the YCS in London, I believe, and YCS in Los Angeles. So obviously, if you have the choice, I would much rather play in the YCS, but I just wasn't aware when we held the tournament. I wasn't paying much attention. But anyway, we had some premier players in this event, as always. At least a handful of players who have topped premier tournaments, such as the RBET tournaments or Deck Devastators. So far, there has not been a repeat winner yet in any of these tournaments, even though they're 16-person tournaments. Typically, we did have the one 50-person tournament, and then we have this 20-person tournament here. So ideally, these are supposed to be more, smaller tournaments, maybe a step above a local, but not nearly competitive in the sense of like the premier RBET tournaments or Deck Devastator tournaments. So hopefully we can keep it between 16 to 32 players. I think that's probably the sweet spot right there. It gets enough people involved, and we have them regularly enough that people can get into them and play. So without further ado, we have the second place deck here piloted by the player Gappy, I believe his name was, or her name. I'm not sure. I've not seen the player around. I don't know if they're new or not, but they were really tearing up the tournament here with their Frog quick draw deck. So I don't believe a repeat deck has won either. There have been a few variations of Frogs that have won two of the tournaments. It was like a Diva Frog, and then we saw a Flame Bell Frog that was in the top four of the 50-person tournament. And then we saw Machina Frog. I think that won last week or 2 weeks ago. So definitely frogs seem to be being splashed in with all different types of decks. We now have it with Quick Draw here, which kind of makes the most sense to me. I was surprised to see Quick Draw getting, I guess Quick Draw in Machina makes sense, but we have frogs here. Looks really like a Quick Draw deck, obviously, looking at it quickly. You have just the frog engine there. It plays just the three. Caius, the Turbo Warrior is kind of cool, right? That's new tech since Ragnarok topped the RBT, the first RBT of the season. So I would call this a quick draw deck with some tech frogs. The engine, I think mainly the engine is just the fact that you can dupe frog and make the dupe lock, and of course substitute just feast when you have tokens on board. So very interesting deck here. Again, Regeki breaks for a while had been kind of fallen out of favor just because of the fact that it's better to send somebody back a turn, but worked out for this player here. Let's see what we have in the sideboard. One Consecrated Light, which is interesting. Doesn't hinder the deck at all, so definitely, aside from the Caius and the Junk Synchron, but you can probably play around and switch some of those out. Vanity's Fiend in the sideboard. You see this a lot, especially with the Frog Engine Index. Definitely sideboarding the Vanity's Fiend. Couple Book of Moon. Trap Stun. Nothing overly crazy here, aside from the fact that the deck is like a quick draw deck. So it's interesting. So congrats to Gappy for second place. Hopefully we see them in future tournaments. Up and coming player. And here we had Stango, I believe is the player's name. Not also too familiar with this player either. Maybe a newer player. I'm not sure, but definitely was playing well on stream. And if you haven't seen the tournament, you can of course watch it on the live section of the YouTube channel there. It's posted. So Black Wings, not hybrid version, but just straight Black Wings here. Double value is interesting. You don't really see that often. Typically it's just the one. Low monster count, but once you hit one with a Whirlwind, you're all set. Main deck Devastation is disgusting, right? That card can just blow up so many matchups. Only problem is if you have the mirror match, it's not the best. Definitely can hit Blizzard, can hit the Kalut, so it's not completely dead, but Starlight Road in the main deck definitely for the Blackwing mirror match. One Oppression, I think this is the right number. I talk about this a lot. I think One Oppression is the right number in the main deck. You may not even need to side deck another one. They don't here. Makes sense. Double Dust for the mirror match. Two more Deck Devastation Virus. So this card is just so good in this deck. That's one of the reasons why Blackwings are so great, because they don't really have any significant poor matchups aside from maybe fairies, and that requires the player to actually know how to play the fairy decks, because it's difficult. So and this card here just destroys that deck. This card destroys the majority of the decks. I'm not sure if I remember if he resolved this in the finals against the quick draw deck, but especially with the Frog Engine, I know we've seen on stream, Rognox Frogs ended up losing like 8 cards to Deck Devastation. So I think this card is probably mandatory in the sideboard if you're playing Blackwings. Not that I play much Blackwing at all. I really don't play the deck much, but still definitely one of the best decks. My opinion, again, is Frogs are the best deck, tied with Blackwing, because, again, this is the only deck that can play unfair cards and get a +1 every turn like the Monarch deck can, right? Black Whirlwind, you summon a Shura, get a +1. If you have 2 of these out, you get a +2, so you're actually doing better than the Frog deck, the Monarch deck specifically. So that's why I feel those 2 decks right now are definitely like S tier, because they're unfair. They can grind. They don't have to grind out the +1s. They just slam a card and get a +1 easily every turn. Blackwing cards are just so much better than most of the stuff in the format. So congratulations to Stango, and he had won the BCS, I believe it was Tournament 7. Ended up getting a role in the Discord server, which if you haven't joined, I will post in the description section. Please like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already, so we can continue doing these tournaments here. And I'm not sure what we're going to do this weekend. It is Easter weekend, holiday for a lot of family coming in. So I think we probably will hold a tournament maybe next week instead. So keep on the lookout. Join the Beastmode Discord server so you can definitely see when we're hosting them. Tournaments are always free, and like I said, winners get a role on the Discord server, a title there, and we are going to have a tournament at the end of the year. It's just going to be a fun tournament with all the winners that were involved. So again, please like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next one.